What is happening? Welcome to my channel. My name is Matt Bradford. Today, we're going to spice up our blues a little bit, okay? A lot of people are really familiar with the minor pentatonic scale. We're going to add some notes. We're going to make the blues a little more sophisticated. First things first, I'm going to tab out some of the licks from today, not all of them, but I'm going to tab out some of them. They're going to be available on Patreon, along with the backing track and all of the charts that I'm going to put all over the place. Mostly scale charts, etc. Okay. I have merch. The link is below. I got shirts. That's the back of the shirt. I'm very professional. That's the front of the shirt, right? We got the cat guy. We got him on hats. I got him on mugs. I got the bones guy. Boom. Link is below. I build and sell lap steels. This is one that I built. I also build conversion necks if you've got an extra Strat or Tele or something sitting around where you're like, I don't want to spend all the money on a full instrument, but I do want to convert an instrument. Well, I have conversion necks, but I also have full instruments. That link, the reverb shop is below. That's everything I have available right now. If you want a better price, email me. I can give you a way better price without having to deal with all the fees and all the stuff from Reverb. Finally, if you just want to leave me a tip, you like all this, you don't want to buy a shirt, you don't want to subscribe to anything, you just want to leave me a tip, QR codes, leave me a tip. It would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so, oh, and on the Patreon thing, you know, we do like a daily ear training thing. We do, I don't think you're going to get a better monthly subscription to help you be a better musician. I don't think so. But, you know, there you have it. Okay, so, look, blues is like one of the simplest, let me put that in quotation marks, forms of music. It's very guitar oriented. There's really very few forms, and at the same time, you know, it goes everywhere and anywhere. And so it can get tricky to get stuck on just pentatonic licks. Although I'll tell you right now, you know, some of my favorite licks of all time, some of my favorite solos of all time are purely pentatonic. But I want to add some extra notes because we can really add a lot of color and vibe to our blues without getting too crazy. So I've done other videos on this, but this is the first time with the overhead camera. Hi, overhead guys. See, look, there's my... Okay, and today I'm just using my DCC Darko's Plexi. So it's a Plexi that's set very clean. I'm on one channel on 3, right? So it's very clean. And I don't think I'm going to add any, I'm not going to add any pedals. A little bit of reverb in the DAW and just a couple mics on the cab that's in the booth. Okay, so we're going to use one track. But if you're on my Patreon, there's blues tracks all the time, and obviously you can play along with any blues thing that you want to. Today's track is a quick change track. So what that means, let's just go through it real quick. If you haven't been here for my lessons before, right, here's the track. It's probably on this side. 4 chord, back to the 1. And we're in D, okay? We're in open D tuning, and this is in the key of D. that's the track we're gonna base it on today. And what I'm gonna do is this. So let me throw up. This is the D pentatonic D minor pentatonic scale right here. So 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 1. Now I think in numbers. I'm itchy. I think in numbers. If you don't understand the number stuff, I got my beginning lessons here, and we start with letters, we move into numbers, I explain where they come from. I also have, if you just search Matt Bradford numbers, there's a whole thing on how to transfer your knowledge from letters into numbers. The reason that numbers make sense, real quick, is just because no matter where my one chord is, if my one chord's the D, then, right, and that pattern works there, but if my one chord is at G, that same pattern. So I just have to learn one set of concepts, and then I can apply it to any key, as opposed to having to know that this is D, this is F, this is F sharp, this is G, this is A, and that's a 1, flat 3, 3, 4, 5. I can just know that's a 1, flat 3, 3, 4, 5, and I can do that in the key of G, right? I can do that in the key of whatever you want. Say C. Okay, or whatever key I want. So anyway, and that was a note that we're not using. So I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna add that note too. So listen, we've talked about this a bunch, but the minor pentatonic scale is the basis of blues. But you also have these chords, right? D is a in the key of D. Our one chord is a D, but the one chord is a 1, 3, 5, and flat 7. Okay, so we're adding the 3 to the pentatonic scale, which is not in there at the moment. And then if you go to the 4 chord, it's a 4, 6, 1, flat 3. Well, we're adding the 6, just the 6, yeah, just the 6 into the scale. And then you go to the 5 chord, 5, 7, 2, 4, right? That's our dominant 5 chord. That adds the 7 and the 2 into the scale. And then also we have the blue note, which is the sharp 4, flat 5, right? So we have all the notes except for the flat 6 and the flat 2. Is that right? Yes. Other than that, we have all the notes in the scale. But and I've explained this before, but we're not going to play like a that doesn't sound bluesy. So while we have all the notes accessible, knowing where to put them makes sense. Okay. So first things first. Okay, for the one chord, the numbers in gold are the one chord notes that are not in the scale. So you see, it's just the 3, right? We have the 1, the 3, the flat 3. So the 1, flat 3, 3, 4, 5, 7. So against the 1 chord, a lick like this. So if I'm here, this is my 1 chord, right? Check it out. Flat 3, 3. Now here's your 4. For now, we're just playing the chord, and then check it out. Okay, that's not pentatonic. What I'm doing, and I'll tab out some. I'll sit down and figure out what I just played and tab it out. But so 5, 4, flat 3, 3, 1. This is lick number 1. Let's call it lick number 1. 5, 4, flat 3, 3, 1. Okay. And then a flat 3, 3, 1. So 5, 4, flat 3, 1. 5, 4, flat 3, 3, 1. Flat 7, 1. Again, that slide from the flat 3 up to the 3 to the 1. It's such a bluesy sound. And it adds so much to your 1 chords, right? Now, I could even add that the flat 5 in there. So now I'm playing 5, flat 5, 4, flat 3, 3, 1, flat 7, 1, flat 3, 3, 1. I'm playing those notes, but because I'm not playing them as a scale, I'm playing them as a lick. All of a sudden we have something really cool that's going to fit against our chord. And again, look, I can do that up here because I know the numbers, because I'm not just working with letters, or I'm not just working with tabs, although this is tabbed out. I'll tab it out in the other place too, which is same exact note. Okay? And it sounds different. I phrased it differently there. But you see, that's so I'm adding the notes from my 1 chord. I'm just adding that 3. I'm making sure I play that 3. And I can play it instead of the flat 3. So here's me playing, instead of the flat 3, I'm going to use the natural 3 in the pentatonic scale. Oh. But let's do it right. Here we go. I got you now. I went to the flat 3 against the 4 chord. Okay, 4 chord. There's that flat 3, and back to the regular 3. Five chord, I'll just play the chord for now. Now we need that 3. Okay, so all I'm doing is either adding the 3 to the pentatonic scale along with the blues scale with that flat 5, but the pentatonic scale, or substituting it. And those are two different sounds. If I'm playing both, okay, I'm adding it. If I'm substituting it now, we're almost Mixolydian. We're not there, but we're almost there. So there's 2 ways to do it. There are 2 different sounds. Having that flat 3 definitely is different than, right? Versus 2 different sounds, both work against the 1 chord. And this is going to add some niceness to your blues, okay? Let's do the same thing with the 4 chord. Now, what are we adding? We're adding the 6. We're not actually going to substitute anything. I need water. Oh my God. Oh, so much talking. Okay, so the 4 chord, we're adding the 6. There's no substitution here. Well, I guess we could substitute the flat 7, but I'm not going to. We're just going to substitute the 6 in place of the flat 7. We're not going to. We're going to add the 6. So now, same scale, but we're adding the 6. And I'm focusing, by the way, both on the 1 chord, on the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. So on all of them, not both. I'm focusing on chord tones first. I'm focusing on starting and ending on a chord tone. Because we're in the pentatonic scale, we're most likely on a chord tone. Except for on the 5 chord, whatever. We'll get there. But, okay, 4 chord. So, now, this is our 4 chord. Let me just, this is our 4 major. Then we can add our flat 7s just by going down from the root of the 4 chord, which is the 4, down one whole step. Okay, so if I want to play the chord, I can just outline it. Okay. All right. So 4 chord. I'm just gonna add the 6. So check it out. Here's our 1. All right, and we'll do something cool like a. See, there's that 6. Okay, and all I'm doing is adding the 6. So any of my licks, just end on the 6 or the flat 3. Right? You see what I'm saying? Like it just adds that little bit of like, oh, because that 6 is part of the 4 chord. It's part of the 4 dominant 7 chord. It's the major third. So we're missing it when we go to the. We accent it. Okay, we accent it when we go to the 4 chord only. I'm not playing that against the 1 chord. I could, right? But it doesn't feel quite. Do you see the difference? Do you hear the difference? It feels different to me, right? Playing that 6 against the 1, gnarly. I can play the 5 and the flat 7 and the 1. Those are all part of the 1 chord. But add that 6 just against the 4 chords. And we get this nice. Ooh. You got away from me there a little bit. I added a flat 6 instead of the natural 6, which was a mistake. I'm going to leave it in, though, because here's the other thing. Look, man, I think a lot of stuff gets really curated and gets really tight, and mistakes happen. And especially when just messing around, when you're just doing stuff, you know, you get on a stage, oh, wow, you played a wrong note. Play it again. Make it sound like you're doing it on purpose. That's one of the cool pieces of advice I've gotten, is like, make sure if you make a mistake, you make it again. Now it's an intention. And then make it work, by the way. Don't just make it. So if I hit that flat 6, right, especially against the 4 chord, check it out. So here's my flat 3 against the 1 chord. It worked. So I'm just making it work. I'm going to make that same lick from the flat 3 to the 3. I'm going to do that on my 6. So what's the other note we don't have? The flat 2? Let's make that one part of this. Check this out. Okay. So you see how I'm taking mistake notes? I did not anticipate doing that in this lesson, but let's talk about it. So, grabbing a note that's really out, well, grab it again and then slide into a note that's in. So start to make it feel natural, and especially on lap steel. But you can do this with guitar. You can do this with any instrument. This works for any instrument. Is taking a note that doesn't work. Let's take the 2. Okay. See how your ear is starting to get used to that 2 now, right? Check it out, 2. Did it there, and then I did it up here. Okay, so a little aside, but a nice one, which is like, take the mistake, and if you can't get it to sound right, well then, that was weird. Then just keep trying until it starts to feel better. Like, that's gonna be a thing that really helps. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But like, I'm gonna take that note and slide into what I need to. Take that flat 6 and make it work in a way that I'm gonna try to make it work and try to make it get your ear used to it. So that first time it might have taken you out, by the time you're done, you're like, oh, okay, I hear that. And you go back around a second time, and you're like, oh, you're expecting it. It becomes part of the mojo. It becomes part of the, oh, look at the sophistication. And it's like, no, man, I messed up. But that can end up being one of the coolest parts of a track, is that like out thing that comes back in. Okay. 5 chord. We're adding the 7 and the 2. So these are, again, they're definitely, as you just saw me do the 2 to the flat 3, pardon me, against the 1 chord. I can make it work, but it's not my go-to move, I'll tell you that for sure. So we're gonna add, only against the 5 chord, we're gonna substitute the flat 7 to the 7, 100%. And then we're gonna add the 2. But we're gonna substitute the flat 7 for the 7 against the 5 chord. It's going to make a really sophisticated sounding lick. It's really nice. So now we got the whole thing where we have the 1 chord, right? And we got this, that's that major 3. We hit the 6 against the 4. Okay. Okay. Flat 7. Okay, now, as I think about how I'm going to tab this out, what I'll do is I'll take some of these licks and I'll tab them out and I'll put lick number whatever on the screen so that we have different licks. But the licks are less important. Obviously, they're important because you want to see how am I going to apply this to the blues, right? But I think being able to get an understanding of where you are, I am basing everything, the way I think about it, is I'm thinking about it based around my pentatonic scale. So when I'm playing this, which is my 6, I'm thinking of it as a whole step above my 5. That's how I think about it. I don't think of it as, oh, this is my 6 and it's here, right? When I get a question a lot, how do I learn the scale? How I've learned the scales, plural, is I really think around certain things. I think around certain chords and I think around certain patterns. So one of the ways I think is I've learned my pentatonic pattern. And so I know the notes up, I know my pentatonic scale everywhere on the fingerboard. Because I know where my 1 and my flat 3 and my 4 are, I know where my 2 and my 3 are. Does that make sense? Here's my 1 and my 3. My 1 and my flat 3. Right? So I know my 2 is 1 fret below my flat 3. So I'm just when I think 2, I'm thinking right down below the flat 3. When I'm thinking 3, I'm thinking right above the flat 3. Right? That's where I'm thinking of it. The same is true. Well, the 2, I think of the 2 against the 5 chord. No, I think of the 2 around the flat 3 as well. The 6, I think of it as 2 frets above my 5. Right? When I'm here, I'm not thinking 1 fret below my flat 7. You can think of this however you want. You're going to find the way that it translates for you. But I don't look at the fingerboard and see, you know, 1, flat 2, 2, flat 3, 3, 4, flat 5, 5, flat 6, 6, flat 7, 7, 1. I don't see that. I'm seeing the pattern from my pentatonic scale. And then I have the relationships to the other notes around that, if that makes sense. And the same thing is true of my major scale. We'll get into that. We can talk about that. I think that's an interesting place to go, actually, with a lot of this. But for now, we have a way to spice up our blues. Make the blues sound a little bit sophisticated. So we're just adding some notes that are going to make everything kind of like take you out of the pentatonic scale for a second. If you're getting stuck in your pentatonic scale, if you need a rut buster, man, add 1 note at a time. If it's too much to go the 3 against the 1 and the 6 against the 4 and the 5 and the 7 against the 2, don't worry about that. Just do 1 at a time, right? Just add the 6 against the 4 chord. Just add the 3 against the 1 chord. And know that the flat 3 is against the 4. The 4 chord, I did this at the beginning, but the 4 chord has a 4, 6, 1, and a flat 3. So knowing that against my 4 chord, check it out, right? When I play my flat 3, this is the final thoughts, but like, there's that major 3. I'm going major 3 against the 1, flat 3 against the 4. That's all I'm changing. Okay. All I did in that whole pass was add the major 3 against the 1 chord. Add or substitute, depending on what I was doing. But that's it. And it definitely adds some juice. So, bring them all in at once. Bring them in one at a time. Whatever you want to do. I hope this helps you just spice up your blues a little bit. The main thing, obviously, is to play and have fun. And then just keep trying. And the more you do it, it's not going to happen automatically. The more you practice, and I say practice in the oh, we've gone too long. It doesn't matter. I say practice in the most broad, general terms. Just start using your brain a little bit while you're playing. Know where you are, know what you're trying to play. It's going to spice everything up. It's going to slowly add more. And the more you do this stuff, the more it gets second nature and the more you can keep doing it. I hope this helps. I hope you had fun. I had fun. I hope it made sense. And, man, thank you for hanging. Please join me on Patreon and all the rest. All right.